Hello again, listeners. Welcome to another video of the Jello Football Bantaba YouTube channel. This is the Kotu Classic Extra. Today, we want to preview the Premier League fixtures, upcoming fixtures, and we have the big game between Man United and Chelsea, or Chelsea and versus Man United, because the game is going to be at Stamford Bridge. And I have my man here, Mo, representing the United corner, and Sonny representing the Blues corner. So, boys, welcome to the Jello Football Bantaba channel. Okay, let's get right into it. Let's look into the fixtures of the upcoming. Yeah, let's look into the fixtures of the upcoming game week. Yeah, the early kickoff is Arsenal Newcastle. I think I'll play Arsenal that they should win that one. Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Liverpool plays Southampton, Norwich Wolves, Brighton Leeds, Brentford Everton, Burnley Spurs, Leicester City Watford, Man City West Ham, and the big one is the final game of the week, that is Chelsea versus Manchester United. But ignoring the United and the Chelsea game, do you have any interesting game you want to say a thing or two about? Or we can move and discuss the United game?
I think we can move. Crystal Palace Aston Villa will be interesting, and what's the other game? The Liverpool Southampton game. No, sorry, not Liverpool Southampton game. Manchester City West Ham, I think, will also be an interesting game.
Yeah, because West Ham are still fourth in the table, so it's kind of a top of the table class. Yeah. So it could be an interesting one. You are right. But yeah, let's move into the big fixture, that is Man United versus Chelsea. But first,
the Red Devils back and the Blue Boys.
Red Devils back, right? I know you guys.
And the Blue Boys.
I know United have a big news this week, because you have a new manager, a new interim manager who is gonna take the team up to the end of season and then become a consultant, something like that. I don't understand that kind of rule. Mo, can you give us a bit of insight how that deal goes? The United deal.
Yes, as you said, we have a big news. I mean, I'm glad that we have reached this stage. I think our Manchester United as a team is moving away from the Sir Alex era. I mean, the United way, and so on and so on. I'm just happy that we have brought in somebody who is going to create a new era. I mean, Sir Alex Ferguson came from Aberdeen and had no connections with the team. Built his own team, built his own his own way, his own structure and everything, and it became the United way.
Yeah.
And that is what we need to move away from. We need to give somebody else another chance who will come, like what Liverpool did with Klopp. Came in, had nothing to do with the club, had no ties, was not an ex-player and everything, and built a new way moving forward, you know.
Okay, and let me cut you one. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Let me cut you 1 minute. Because this is an interim manager who's gonna stay there for the end of this, like 1 year, and then he's not gonna like he's gonna be a consultant, something like that after that. So
let me explain the structure of the deal.
Okay, that's what I want you to explain to me. But you are telling me why Sir Alex and that. So tell me why.
No, I was trying to give you, I was trying to explain this for like how the appointment will have an impact on United.
Okay.
As we know, Ralph is somebody who doesn't like working shut down.
Yeah.
He's somebody who doesn't like working shut down. And United have, a new director of football, Murta, knew Ralph when he was at Leipzig. He even went to understudy Leipzig, how they were run as a club some years ago.
Yeah.
And who knew about him. So they knew about him, they liked him.
Yeah.
The problem they first had when they approached him is they just wanted to offer him an interim role and till the end of the season, and then he goes and United bring him in. And he said no. What he wanted was, after being an interim manager, he wants to go to the top and, you know, have a role there, have a role in decision making, you know, when it comes to recruiting, bringing in the new manager. And building a whole new structure in the team. He wanted to have power in the team.
Okay,
And
I get that.
United went back to him.
Okay, I get that.
United went back to him
uh-huh.
with a better offer. And
Yeah.
now, after being an interim for 6 months, he would move up to be a consultant. It would be like at the role of a sporting director.
Okay, I get it.
It will be as a, even though we have a sporting director, but I think we can all agree that Berta and Fletcher will learn a lot from him. And Woodward will soon be gone, even though there are rumors that he's going to stay. But I think he will go. Murta will move to that role of a CEO, but the footballing aspect will be delegated to Ragnick.
Okay,
So that is the plan.
that's the plan. Okay, very clear.
Yeah.
Of course, Sonny is our resident expert here when it comes to German managers and German coaches, because of course, yeah, you are in Germany, so you should know better than us. And Rangnick, I can't even pronounce his name. Rangnick, something like
Rangnick,
that.
yeah.
Rangnick, yeah. So
Ralph Ragnick.
of course, when it comes to football management, like yesterday, some United fans they were surprised to see that name because they did not know him. But because he has played a lot of roles, which is not necessarily a coach, but of course he started as a coach, but then his impact in football is way more than just coaching. And of course, when you're talking about trophies and things like that, you are not gonna see a lot of like medals in his neck, but he has a huge impact in football, Sonny. Can you tell us a little bit about
Exactly.
him?
Yeah, definitely. Ralph is a very well-known figure here in Germany because, like you said, it's not always the coaching aspect what is important or what is amazing with him. It's more about his general knowledge of football. He's a very rare person to find nowadays in football who is like multitask. Like he's someone who can multitask in different areas in football. He has so much expertise in being a sporting director, technical director, coach. Like he knows everything about football in and out, and that's something that many people are amazed because he's also, like many know, the godfather of gegenpressing. Like he's the one that introduced that style of play, which was at first even laughed out about. Like many people were laughing at him, like his style of play, because he was caught out. But he managed to stick to that play, and he brought up many new coaches, like players like Klopp and Tuchel. Even Tuchel, he gave him a coaching career, even though he didn't want to become a coach. He managed to convince him to become a coach, and he is definitely someone who's gonna fit very well in at United. But like Mo said, the problem with him is always he doesn't like to stay short term. He always wants something long where he can start his own foundation and start as a, build his own team basically. And that's why he fitted, like he fit well in Leipzig, because Leipzig were not found, they were just founded like, when was it, not long ago.
Yeah.
And he was part of that management. Like he started fresh with Leipzig, brought them from the regional teams in Germany and all the way to Champions League football. He started all that. And he not only Leipzig, because he was also the CEO or the manager of like Red Bull, the GM Red Bull. Like he was managing also Red Bull Salzburg, the team in Austria, because they have two teams, like the Red Bull here and the Red Bull in Salzburg. And he was so, like, he's a genius in that type of field, because he was able to multitask both clubs when it comes to their footballing aspects, and he did a very wonderful job. Like he can see the job at Leipzig, like how far they came in the footballing aspects, and he would definitely help United grow as a club.
That's beautiful.
I think what fans need to understand, especially United fans, is Rafa, he's not here to win trophies. I mean, he's not a manager that comes to win trophies. He is a club builder. He's an expert in structuring a club so that they could recruit players and have a very good system in place. That is the type of man he is. He has a very vast knowledge of football. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the type of man he is.
Yeah, of course. I just listened to Jurgen Klopp's press conference, and he said a lot of good things about him, and he has been saying a lot of good things about him. I think he even referenced him as the best German manager there is. But of course, he is known more for his other aspect of football, but when it comes to coaching, he's also a top coach.
Of football.
Yeah, it will be interesting
Yeah.
to see. I'm not happy to see him go to Man United though, but yeah, we will wait and see what happens.
I am very surprised that I'm very, very, very surprised that Manchester United went for a man like that. I am very, 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 very surprised. And I think for the first time, I can say that Manchester United have made a decision, especially Ed Woodward. He has, over the years that he has been in Manchester United, I think this is, the best decision he has made.
He has made.
And that I can give him credit for.
Yeah, but if I can add on to something with Ralph Rangnick and how he is going to fit at United, because it's something to look forward to. I don't think he's someone who wants to be on the hot seat for long, especially when it comes to coaching. He is normally someone who is just like a short-term fix. It's like he also had the same issue at Leipzig, where when Hasenhüttl, when he managed the team for a season. He is someone who likes to be behind the scenes more and structure the club when it comes to the sporting role, like sporting director, technical director. So that's why, based on his appointment at United, right now he's just interim until end of season. And like Chama also said, like the question mark is they say they're going to give him a 2-year consultancy role. So that role, I think it still needs to be defined, like what exactly is his powers, because with Ralph Rangnick, like I could say the main problem with him, or the difficulty he will face at United, is where he has the power to implement things, because he's someone who wants to have always full power in everything he does. That's one of the problems he had, because he was close to joining Milan. And he fell out Maldini because he wanted to have full control of both the sporting director and technical director, plus the footballing team itself. So he's someone you have to look out for at United. I don't think he may have some issues with the Glazers, because whatever he wants to do, he really wants to do. Like, you have to give him full control. So it'll be interesting to see after the interim role, like what kind of power does he have at United, because this consultancy role, like, it's not yet defined. Like, many people don't know exactly what he's going to do, and it will be interesting to see what powers he have, like what other roles he will be doing there.
Absolutely. Just a curious question.
Yeah. According to reports that are coming out, it's that he would be involved in being an manager, and also he would be involved in decision making, especially the football side. When it comes to recruiting, he would work hand in hand with the next manager, and he would be sitting at the board, like he would be sitting with the board. He'll be sitting at the board level with the likes of the Glazers and Edward and Fletcher and the others. So I think he's going to have a big impact. I think if those things were not guaranteed, he wouldn't have come, because this is the second time they approached him.
Yeah, that's right.
And if he is to accept, I think they are going to give him what he wants, and that is the power to make decisions. And like I said, I'm excited to see what he would bring to United. I think for now, we have somebody at least making important decisions in the top, and I think that we really need.
Okay, that's a good sign for United. I think there is like reason for excitement for United fans, so try to enjoy it.
Of course. I'm just smiling. I've been smiling since yesterday night.
I have a curious question, sorry, for you. About German coaches, in general, because I can remember too when Klopp was coming to Liverpool, the echoes were all he has to take full control of the club, and this is not usually the English culture. Is it like this, like for all German coaches, or how is it for Tuchel at Chelsea?
Yeah, I think it's the same. Like, all German coaches all have that similar trait with them. You can call them like having like a big character, have their own type of ego. But I think sports in general, especially in football, many great coaches or great figures always have this side in them that you can call them like they have a big ego, but it's a big ego in a good way, because they believe in themselves, and in order for them to thrive at a specific club, you need to let them play 100% their own role, like what they have control. And that's why even Tuchel is someone very difficult to work with. He had problems in Dortmund, had problems with PSG, with the sporting director, about what he wants, and I won't be surprised that maybe in the future, hopefully not, that he would clash with the board, because there are people who are always fully focused on their job, and they always want exactly what they want in order to thrive, so that you won't have issues saying that maybe it's the coach's fault. Everybody will know 100%. This is the coach's decision. Like, that's like the way he wants it, and that's why it's something in German. Like most German coaches, they all have that similar trait in them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can feel it when Klopp was coming to Liverpool. Same thing. But now let's move on.
Exactly.
Yeah, now let's move on to the big one. When United and Chelsea clash, it's usually very, very, it's hectic. It's usually a tough clash. But recently, Chelsea have been struggling against United. That's Sonny. I think in the last 3-4 years, you have not won against them or something. I don't know the numbers exactly. Last season was a couple of draws, 0-0. Both teams failed to score. So it's not always an easy fixture, but right now, Man United are a mess. I think the best time to play them, of course, it will have been under Ole, but it is still a good time because there is no impact of Ragnick and things like that. And Chelsea are now flying. Chelsea are now flying. So how do you see this one panning out?
Well, I still think it's going to be a difficult game because many people on paper would think that Chelsea would absolutely destroy United, like based on form and how we played our last 3 games, especially against Juventus, Leicester, and so on. But I think this game is going to be one of our difficult games this season because playing against a team like United at this moment, you don't know what to expect from the players. Yeah. Because when it comes to the tactical aspect, I think Tuchel is ahead of them. Obviously, Carrick is still in charge because in tactical aspect, Tuchel is ahead. But in this type of game, it's more about the players' reaction. Like the players like Van der Beek coming into the team, players like Sancho, they all have things to prove. Like players like Ronaldo after defeats against Watford, they would want to react to this game. And we've seen it against Villarreal, like there was a reaction. And that's why it's very difficult, even for Tuchel, to see how United will come into this game. It's going to be definitely difficult. And I also personally won't be surprised if United could get something out of the game, even a point or even end up winning Chelsea. Because my personal view is I would rather face a United team on form or a team that you know how they're going to play, like their organization, instead of a team that they're all over the place, because you just don't know what to expect from those players. It's really difficult to judge them.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Mo, how about you? What do you see in this game?
I mean, I think we are a mess right now, and I think my honest opinion is I think Chelsea will win the game because I think they're a better coach side. They are in top form, and I just think our midfield is so bad, and they are going to dominate the play in the midfield, and they'll move the ball faster. We're not also defending well. I think we are just all over the place, and I just don't see how we can stop Chelsea right now because they are playing so good. I just don't see a way that we could set up to stop them. Our coaches are actually good. They're not good coaches. So what I hope is Ralph will be at the game sitting on top. And I mean, the players may react to that. I don't know. And that is the hope I'm having, that somehow the players may react to the good feeling that they are about to have a good manager, and those players would want to impress him. I hope he will be watching the match, and the players playing will want to impress him and have a great reaction than the reaction we had during our last Champions League game. I think our last Champions League game against Villarreal, I think we were very bad and dreadful. We just lived off moments, and that's what I don't want with this game, with this Chelsea game, because if we go there and start playing this slow tempo game, they're absolutely going to destroy this game. So I just hope that Ralph will be watching the game, and the players would somehow have this instinct in them that they would want to react and impress him. Yeah. And hopefully I don't even mind a draw.
Yeah. We have been there. United have played when they played Liverpool, when they played City. I think Sonny make a very good point about it's about the players. These kind of games, they are big games, so sometimes not about the manager. But then we see what happened against Liverpool. We saw what happened against Manchester City. They were completely destroyed. So I don't know what to expect anyways after those 2 fixtures. So I'm just excited to see the game. I will watch it. Hopefully it will be late here, but I will try to watch it and see how it goes.
Yeah, I think against Man City and Liverpool, it's hard to judge them now because that was under Ole. Like if Ole had been in charge this game, then I would be more confident because we will be more prepared and we will know what type of football to expect.
Yeah.
But at this moment, right now, tactically, obviously Tuchel has the upper hand, but I think in this type of games, the players' reactions can also win games. It doesn't come down to the tactical aspect,
Yeah,
because
that's true.
obviously the players right now, they'll be buzzing, some of them, especially like I said, Van der Beek. They all have the opportunities. Players like Sancho, they all have a point to prove, and them coming into this game, especially after beating Villarreal, and they would want to react after Watford. I definitely expect them to react. Although I still see Chelsea game, but I think it's still going to be difficult. Like it depends on how the players of United react, and if they react in a good way, it's like I said, it won't be surprising if they can get something out of the game.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
just something I wanted to say before we move ahead. I think um, even United fans don't expect the kind of game we are going to put up, but I think what we will expect is we will try to sit back and hit them on the break, because that is the system that we have been playing for so long. And Carrick was under Ole, and he would play like that, because that is even the same way we were playing in the Champions League. And what I want to say is about I mean, when it comes to the reactions, like in the Champions League, if you notice, Bruno was dropped, and I just hope that that would spark a reaction in him, and I just hope that we could do that with a lot more with our other big players, because sometimes dropping these players might spark reactions in them, even though that doesn't mean that they are bad players, but
Of course, of
players
course.
could be out of form due to one reason
Definitely.
and another. And I think so many of Manchester United players have not been playing to their standards because of bad coaching, and they have been out of form, but they keep playing them. I just hope that all these things do spark a reaction in the players.
Okay, yeah, let's wait and see what happens. And I will just bring Sonny, Chelsea at home. You went with this starting lineup. I think this is the usual one. I have only one surprise. That is left wing back, because
Yeah.
yeah, Aspilicueta, you went with Aspilicueta. Chaloba, what a season he's having. But if you see the trend, he has not been starting in the big games. He usually start in the when you are playing the mid-range teams or the smaller teams. When you play big teams, Tuchel tends to prefer the experience rather than the youth or something like that. And other two, he's coming back to life. Loftus-Cheek likewise. So, but Aspilicueta at the left wing back. Considering I cannot remember when Chelsea used not a natural left back or right like in their natural position. So, and this is a wing back, not a back four, and you are using why?
Yeah, yeah, I know it's hard to acknowledge it, but player like Aspilicueta, he has played left back at times, maybe not under Tuchel, but under our different like various managers
Yeah,
like
of course.
Mourinho.
Yeah,
Like he's someone who can definitely do a job on that role. And I specifically went for him in this game because of how United would set up, which I think watching from the last game, Sancho wouldn't play at the right back. I mean, at the right wing, like he'll play on that side of
yeah,
the pitch. And he's someone I think United finally discovered that his best position is actually on that side, because he always tries to use that space and try and cross the ball in very quickly. And I think in this game we need someone that would be an area definitely where United may get a lot of chances, especially because I know Aspilicueta. Obviously, I want him to start, but I'm pretty sure that Alonso would start the game because Tuchel likes to play like a natural left back, obviously, and Alonso did very well at the start of the season. He was also on form, but with Chelsea fans, we're never 100%
yeah.
back. We're never
Alonso,
100% backed on Alonso, because he definitely did a great job since coming to Chelsea, winning the league. But you can always see the big difference between him and Chilwell. Like he doesn't add that intensity and energy and pace on that wing, because he's someone who is slow, especially defensively. And if you have a player like Sancho who's very skillfully, he would easily create problems for Alonso. So that's why I prefer Aspilicueta, who at least he may not offer much going forward, but he would still do a job, especially in the defensive aspect, and try and keep that place shut. Whereas at the right side, we can maybe dependent on James going forward and creating that chances from the right side. So, and yeah, like you also said, Chaloba, There's definitely a trend that he hasn't been starting big games. I also won't be surprised if maybe Christensen comes back into the fold, but I just chose him based on the form. Like he's just scored his first Champions League goal in his first Champions League start, and he's going to be brimming with confidence. And he's been actually training very well. Tuchel has been saying it, so it's also an area where it's either Jallo Anders consistent. I mean, anyone who plays would be a good option there.
Yeah, definitely. That's nice. Let's look at the United lineup from Mo. Mo, you went with like of course Shaw is like he had concussion, so he's out. So you went with Tellers at left back, natural replacement. Bailey and Lindelof. Maguire is suspended. Wan Bissaka right back, and you went with your midfield is completely changed, revamped midfield. Matic, Van der Beek, and Fernandes. There is no McFred. And up top you went with Marshall instead of Rashford. Can you talk us through your lineup, please?
Yes. First of all, even if Luke Shaw was not injured, I think I wouldn't have picked him. He's not playing very well. He's tired. He looks really tired. I think what happened in the Champions League, I really applaud. Dropping Bruno in that game, was the right thing. And I would have done the same thing for Maguire and Shaw. I think they have been absolutely dreadful. McTominay and Fred, I just don't think they should be starting for United. But for some reason, Carrick and Ole thinks, especially McTominay, that they are very fantastic players, which I'm really struggling to see. I mean, there must be something he's doing at the training ground that we are not seeing. But in the matches, he's not doing it. And I'm really just struggling to see it. So I will go with, I know Matic is old and he doesn't have the mobility anymore, but you at least have that midfielder that can take the ball and play it in front, And you have the Van der Beek who can, attack and come back with that energy. I think he should be starting more often. Of course, I'll go with Wan-Bissaka because, even though he is not also playing well, but he's the best option that we can go with. I think Sancho needs a run of games on the right. He is the best fit. Rashford also is not playing well. I don't think he looks particularly very fit. He looks like he's rushed back a bit from his injury. Again, another problem we have under Solskjaer, always playing players who are injured.
Can we stop saying? Can we stop talking about Solskjaer? Let's look forward.
Of course. Of course, and I think and I think Ronaldo keeps his place. That's why I went with that team. And of course, Bruno comes back into the team. I mean, he is. I know Sonny likes giving him a lot of backlashes and so on, but I think if we look at the realistic point of view, he has been the most relevant player since he came to Manchester United, and I think he has been one of the most relevant players in the Premier League since he came to England. So
okay, so Marshall,
yeah, that would be my team.
Talk me about Marshall. Where did he come from? Because I haven't heard a lot about Marshall. I haven't seen him play a lot. All of a sudden, he's gonna start the big game against Chelsea. What's your thinking there?
Like I said, number one, I think Rashford is not playing particularly well.
Yeah.
I don't think he's played well. I don't think Rashford is back to the Rashford used to. I don't think he's very fit.
What do you think, Marshall?
I think Marshall should be given an opportunity. Like he should have been playing more games. Cavani is not particularly fit. Greenwood also is just suffering from COVID. I mean, I think I'll go with Marshall. And I think in the Champions League game, he was one of the players who did. He did not play, but he was not very fantastic. But I think he played well. Okay. So I would start him.
Okay. It's a solid team. The worry is the midfield, of course. I think there's gonna be a lot of gaps there because I see Donny van der Beek as a he plays high up the pitch rather than in the middle. I don't see him as a central midfielder. I see him as a more like a number 10 kind of a player, not like a number 8. Just hear me out. And Bruno Fernandes likewise. And Matic is more of a holding midfielder who sits back a little bit. So there's gonna be a gap between those three. So that is my
definitely.
Yeah.
But
if I can talk on the team.
Okay.
Van der Beek, a lot of people make that mistake. Like, watch Van der Beek when he was at Ajax. This is a player I have been following for a long time. Even Real Madrid.
No, we all do.
He's a central midfielder.
The truth truth is, you watch and we watch, and we all have opinions. That is the thing. So you can have your opinion that he can play that role, but people can you cannot change other people's opinion about that. That's the only thing. So I understand you.
I know, but like,
You believe he can play that
even
role.
even the best games he played for United, the little games he played, like when he played in a central position, that is where he had his best games. I don't think, especially at United, the number 10 role is really for him. I think the best position is the box-to-box midfield, you know. And I think him and Matic, they play really well. If you look at the games he played with Matic, he played really well because he had somebody sitting. It's just like what Pogba didn't have, you know, having a central midfield that covers the defense and allow him to be a box-to-box to go and come.
Okay, yeah, Sonny wanted to say something. Okay, let's go. Before we go, we move to the interesting part. That is the combined 11. Let's go, Sonny.
Yeah, definitely. This team is also a bit. From my own point of view, I don't think Martial will start. I can 100% be sure about that. I think Rashford would start because he didn't play the game against Villarreal. So I'm definitely thinking that Martial would drop to the bench. And with the midfield, like Chama said, there will be definitely gaps if it's this team that is going to play, because Van der Beek and Fernandes, especially both of them, like maybe let's say Fernandes, they are not players that necessarily track back. And Mo already mentioned, Matic is someone who over the years is already old and he doesn't have that mobility. So you would definitely, I will be surprised if United play so offensively. They would definitely play with two central midfielders, maybe like Matic and Fred or McTominay in that pivot role. I don't see them playing a single midfielder like Matic there and playing offensive football like Van der Beek and
That's suicide.
That's suicide. And like you were saying about Fernandes, obviously he's been hitting the ground running since he came to United, but this season particularly has been poor. Again, teams against Watford, he was one of the worst players or performance on the pitch against Watford. His football has declined a bit. I mean, stats are there, like he has been providing obviously assists in the Champions League, but he still needs to, I think it's also partly down to how United play now and are focused on Ronaldo. But yeah, against Chelsea, he's definitely also going to be a threat, trying to play the ball over, and it's going to be an interesting game nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we can move on to the interesting part. That is the one that I am most excited about. That is your combined 11s. You guys have sent me your combined 11. So we will start with Sonny. This is completely blue. The combined 11 with two United players, which I cannot disagree much with. You want to talk us through it a bit? Why those two United players?
Yeah, definitely. Because if we have to look back over the past season or even a year, when it comes to Ronaldo and Fernandes, obviously Ronaldo just joined United this season, but he's definitely a player nobody would drop. He's a big game player. He's been performing this season very well. Bruno, on the other hand, like I said, maybe this season he has not been performing that better like last season, but he's still, if I have to look over the last year, I would put him in the team. Because when it comes to the Chelsea side, attacking wise, over the past year, we have been very inconsistent when it comes to the front three. I think Mount is the only player that has been really consistent in the team. He has performed under Lampard. He has performed under Tuchel. But other players like Ziyech, Pulisic, Werner, Havertz, they have all been in and out of the team. They've never had really a grip on the position. You can see like a good example right now is Odoi. He has now that grip, but sooner or later he would lose it, and then someone like Werner comes back with a team or Ziyech. So our front three has definitely been, it's not a fixed front three apart from Mount. I think he's the only player who's very stabilized in that aspect. That's why I went for Mount. He's very stable in that aspect. So I just went for Mount, and then Bruno, because he's also been consistent for United over the past year. Last season, and every other aspect from midfield to defense, I don't see any difference there. Like if I have to choose over the past year,
absolutely,
I would still stick with the defense.
Yeah, absolutely. Mendy, I think he has been in top form. I even struggle to
absolutely.
Yeah. And defensively, Chelsea have been very solid. Right back, I think James is having the season of his life. Chilwell, unfortunately, his injury is gonna hold him a little bit, but he has had a great season. And the midfield, Kante and Jorginho, these people are vying for the world best player in the world. So I can understand. And finally,
you were saying, continue.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to move to Mo. because he has six players different from your team. So Mo, you have De Gea in, you have
Yeah,
Varane in, you have different formation, of course. You have Shaw in,
yeah.
you have Pogba in, and you have Greenwood in. So six players. Talk us through those six United players. Why do they deserve a spot in the team? The other ones we are the same, so we don't need to argue about it.
Yeah, I think we don't need to talk about Bruno and Ronaldo because Sonia has already spoken
Yeah.
about them.
Just the different ones. That is
Ronaldo is
like I
one of
say.
them.
Like I
Yeah,
say, yeah.
yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, both of them. I think they already cleared themselves. When it comes to the goalkeeper, I think David De Gea has been in great form, and I think I get this. I there's this thing that people talk about that last season he dropped off a bit. I don't think last season he had a bad season. I think what they were trying to do is they were trying to bring Henderson to put him above him, which
No,
wasn't
that's
possible.
not the point here.
And
The
with
point
the
is
back of
why
his
should he
child,
be why should he be above Mendy? That is the thing. About Henderson, we talked about
that's
that
what
before.
I'm saying.
No, about
That's
Henderson,
what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
from last season to this
Yeah.
season he is in a top form. He's in a top form. He deserves to play.
Yeah.
If Manchester United didn't have David De Gea this season, we would have been in 10th position or 12th position.
Yeah.
He saved us from losing a lot of games this season. He's in a good form.
So do you think he has a better season than Mendy? So do you think he had a better season than Mendy this season and last season combined? If you want, I don't want you to
I
spend.
cannot say Mendy has a better season than him.
Why?
I cannot say that Mendy has a better season than him because he has been in top form. Like I said, he's been saving games.
So you are just
he's been saving.
I 100% agree with you that David De Gea is on form. I don't disagree.
Look at his saving rates. Look at his saving rates.
Yeah, Mendy is higher. That's what I'm telling you. Mendy is higher because Mendy only considered 4 goals. So I don't even
okay, but if you look at United also, that's why I said we're not defending properly. So I think I'll go with De Gea. I'll go with him.
Okay. And next,
Varane comes into the team because he's one of the best defenders in the world.
Yeah, that's like Luke Shaw.
Luke Shaw has been consistent. He's not having a good season this season. I think he's not playing well, and I don't think he's particularly fit. I think he's tired.
Yeah.
But if you look at him, over the years he has been at United, he's been consistent. And last season he had a very great season.
Yeah, last season he had a good season.
In the midfield,
yes. Pogba.
In the midfield, I like Jorginho. I like the way he plays. I like Jorginho really well. But I just had to go with one of them so that I could put Pogba in the team. Because I think Pogba with a holding midfielder, you get the best out of him. So I went with Kante, and mostly because Pogba plays very well with Kante. We see him in front, the way he plays. I like Jorginho very well. He loves us.
That's a good argument.
I think he's a top. I think he's a top midfielder. I wish I had him at United. He's exactly what we need.
Yeah. Greenwood.
I went with Greenwood because he had a good season last season. At the beginning of this season also, he has been scoring goals. I'll go with him. I think chances front three, the only person I'll take there is Mason Mount because he has been so consistent, even when Lampard was coach. I think he has been consistent during Lampard's time, and I think he is very consistent under Thomas Tuchel. I think even on Tuchel, he upped his game. You understand what I'm saying? He upped his game. So I think if you have to choose a forward player from Chelsea, I think he's the one you should go with. And of course, Ronaldo picks himself. I mean, I don't think anybody is gonna argue with that. So that's why I went with this team.
Okay, Mo. Thank you for your combined 11. It's a bit strange though, but yeah, some of the positions, especially like I said, De Gea, Luke Shaw for me. Pogba, I understand the argument. I understand the argument for Pogba. Because you're arguing based on because there is Kante, so he could be a better player. And as we know, if Pogba has all the tools around him, he's one of the most fantastic players to watch. I can understand that argument, but we are talking about at club level and talking about the form of players, so it's difficult to ignore Jorginho, considering the impact that he has at club level and country-wise. I think Italy won the Euros, Chelsea won the Champions League, and he was very instrumental in all those cases. And as we know, Pogba is struggling to even have a good season at United this season, so it's a difficult argument to make. But yeah, I will show you guys
Definitely.
my combined 11 based on your two combined 11s, and it looks like this. I have
Oh
only
my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I decided to go with
This is
me.
just another. This is just another Liverpool Manchester United. But anyway,
No,
let's
it's not.
go.
It is not. It
No.
is not. It is based on what I see because I watch a lot of football. As you know, I watch a lot of football, and
I know.
Chelsea are at the top of the league, and Manchester United are 8 or something for a reason because the team is doing well, the players are doing well. If it is not, if that is not part of the reason, then I don't think the difference will be that huge. So I think you cannot ignore that fact. But for Varane, I keep put him there for the fact of his he is a very good player before he came to United. And also if I look at his Man United numbers, his United games, he played 5 or 6 games for United so far this season. And United have already lost one game. That was against Aston Villa at home. That was the last minute, the game that Bruno Fernandes missed the penalty. He skied the penalty, if you remember well. That was the only game that Varane started for United in the league, and they lost. But of course, there is Aspilicueta who could be in that position. There could be Chaloba who could be in that position. I consider all those players. Chaloba, I did not put him there because, like I say, he is not being involved in the most important games. So that's why I cannot put him there. Aspilicueta too, he's in and out of the team, like Varane. Varane for injury reasons, but Aspilicueta most of the times I think he has been benched, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's difficult. I know Varane haven't done enough to be in that team, but yeah, I just have to find another spot for a United player in that team. This is what I go with. And Sonny, you wanted to comment on
You
most
see
teams.
what I'm talking about? You see the biasness I'm talking about?
Yeah, what?
I don't think there's anything
I mean,
biased about this team. Like with this team, I can agree, sir. Like with Varane, I could just give him the benefit of the doubt that he's obviously a world-class defender. And with Aspilicueta this season, he didn't play much. But apart from that, I don't think I have any talks like any big discussions about why this player is playing in this position. Because compared to most teams, like it's laughable. You're gonna play De Gea instead of Mendy, even though you say De Gea is informed this season. But if you just have to compare both of them, what they have done over the past seasons, even last season, De Gea has been inconsistent. There are certain games where he conceded very poor goals, which are his fault. Then you have the Europa League final where he lost his penalty and he wasn't good throughout the game with the goal against Moreno. Like even last season, he has been inconsistent when compared to Mendy's achievement and how he came to the club and when his value skyrocketed, like winning the Champions League, being instrumental in games against Real Madrid. So it's just laughable. And secondly, also players like Pogba, you cannot compare Pogba and Jorginho based on the last year itself. Like if you can take back 18 months back, Pogba has been, since he came to United, he's been in and out of the team. That's, I think, the definition of his Manchester United career is his inconsistency. One good example is this season. The first 2 games, he exploded with 5 assists, and after that, he went missing again. His performance started to drop. He gets injured, and then that's the whole cycle that's been going through. And if you have to compare with Jorginho, like Jorginho and Kante, they have been dominating important games, Champions League games, Euro games. Like Jorginho won the Euro, so it's laughable. Like the only person in that attack who I would choose would be Fernandes and Ronaldo. The same with Greenwood. He has been also in and out of the team, inconsistent. But yeah, he has been.
Greenwood hasn't been inconsistent.
He has been inconsistent.
No,
Last season he started.
He's been playing well, and
He has been inconsistent. Last season he only started playing well starting from January. But at the very beginning of the season, at the very beginning of the season, he wasn't up to date. He was in and out of the team. He wasn't a fixed starter. He only started the games starting around January. That's when he picked up form. But now he's also in and out of the team again due to COVID or injuries or whatever. But even if Greenwood's in the team, I could give him that benefit of the doubt. But there are certain players like De Gea, Pogba, they definitely shouldn't be even in that team.
Yeah,
Like they're not even debatable. Greenwood, you can debate it. Even Shaw, you could debate it. But even with Shaw, if I have to compare with Chilwell, based on the Premier League, what they played in the league, Chilwell played like 6 games less than Shaw and still has better stats. He has more goals, the same amount of assists. Defensively, he has been better. Champions League, he was instrumental. Like he was one of the main reasons why we won the Champions League, even Chilwell contributing against Porto, scoring crucial goals, and especially the final, where him and James played absolutely fantastic against Raheem Sterling and Mahrez. I think he kept Mahrez the whole game out of the thing. The only case where you could argue is the Euros, which is not necessarily club level, but that's the only part where Shaw really stepped up his game was at the Euros. But club-wise, I can see Shaw being a better defender than Chilwell over the past year, like what Chilwell has done. So it's all those are the only debatable things, and maybe you could say Greenwood based on form, because Chelsea's front three is also inconsistent. So I could just give that the benefit of the doubt. But De Gea, Pogba, those two are definitely out of the topic. Like there's no even debate about that when it comes to Chelsea's player there.
Okay.
Maybe Pogba in the midfield, I could agree to that. That's why I said I like Jorginho. He has been more consistent and all. But what I was looking at is if Pogba plays with a holding midfielder, you get the best out of it. And once you have one holding midfielder, I mean, I don't think you need two holding midfielders if you have a team like that. But Jorginho can take his place there, and it's arguable. But I think Shaw had a better season than Chilwell last season. And like I said, this season he's not having a good season because I think there are reasons for that. I think Greenwood starts because Chelsea, their front three, their forwards, like I said, Mason Mount has only been the most consistent passing there. And when it comes to De Gea last season was one of the reasons we reached the Europa League final. If you remember our semi-final, AC Milan could have won that game. He saved 3 goals he made 3 saves that could have gone in.
Okay,
I mean, this guy was the most consistent player in United ever.
Okay, so let me come in on De Gea. That was, I personally, even the Pogba, I understand your viewpoint, where are you coming from? But still, I will not put him there. But I understand where you're coming from because of when he plays with Kante, he's good. With Shaw last season, I think he was up there when it comes to fullbacks. I think he was the best fullback in the league. Of course, Chilwell achieved more, and then Shaw went into the Euro and had a very good Euro. So if this discussion was last season, at the start of this season, I think I will put Shaw in there personally. But considering what happened over the last few weeks, the start of the season, Shaw has been woeful in that United team. So I think Chilwell has really gone past him during that period. So I will in turn now I will go with Chilwell. But for De Gea, you asked me a question. What is the save percentage of these goalkeepers? I just opened the page right now, and you know De Gea which number he is in. If I tell you, you will be surprised. De Gea is at number 21 in the league when it comes to goalkeepers. 21. Number 1 is Edouard Mendy.
Because he's been conceding a lot of goals due to.
But you are talking about save percentage. That is why you back him as your goalkeeper. Just listen to me. Edouard Mendy, 93%, 93.8% save percentage. He has faced 32 shots on target in the league, and then he conceded 4 goals out of it. De Gea has faced 54 shots, and he conceded 20 goals. Is it like that? Yeah. 34. He only saved 34 of those shots. So he has 61% save percentage. 61%. He's only better than the next to him who has played is Woodman of Newcastle. That is the only goalkeeper that De Gea is better when it comes to save percentage. The volume of chances that Man United are conceding are a lot. They are conceding a lot of chances. So De Gea tends to make a lot of saves. And that in our mind will say, okay, De Gea is making a lot of saves. He's doing well. But that is not just about goalkeeping. Goalkeeping is about making saves. It's about contributing in terms of distribution, in terms of leadership at the back and things like that. It's not just about saving. And even in the saving category, he's not at the top. So why should he be there? I don't know. I don't see why this is even debatable, that one, to be honest.
Honestly, he's talking about trying to compare Europa League, what he did in the Europa League. But you cannot compare what he did in Europa League and what Mendy did in Champions League. Like, those two are different leagues, and obviously Champions League is better than Europa League. And even so, like, there are certain games last season, even this season, against Man City, you could even say Man City's second goal. That goal was cheap. Against Watford last game, even the fourth, I think it was Pedro's goal. It went through his very same post there. There are many games where he's still inconsistent. There's always that level of mistakes.
He makes some exceptional saves. To be honest, he makes some exceptional.
I don't think I can blame him for those goals, and I don't think he has been inconsistent.
He has been inconsistent since last season. Obviously, he's on form right now, but he still has that mistakes in him. Since the Euros against Spain, he hasn't been the same De Gea. I haven't seen that very same De Gea. He's always in and out. He's inconsistent. Like, there are certain times he builds on form, but he always has that mistakes in him. But Mendy, for the past year, I think the only mistake I've ever seen him done was against Everton, conceding the penalty on the Lampard. But since then, you cannot compare. It's just not even debatable to compare De Gea and Mendy.
21 goals conceded, actually. 21, not 20. So, yeah, Mendy 4 goals conceded. So, to be honest, Kenya, I think I can understand your debates to the other aspect of the game of your team, but to be for the day one, I cannot.
I mean, because I
Okay.
think Mo is picking the team more on names, but not on form.
Absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
another example is Varane. Another example is Varane. You can even compare like Varane and Rudiger the past year, who had the better season.
Yeah.
Varane has been in and out of the team since even at Madrid. He wasn't the same person. He
Even
faced
Madrid,
Chelsea.
yeah, Madrid fans, we are not even happy with him. But
Exactly. I don't think many people even missed him like that he left Madrid. Like not many people were like sad about it because he has been really poor. The Varane, maybe let's say the past 3 or let's 2 years, he hasn't been the same. The
But
Oliver Varane maybe
yeah.
was 3 years ago, but the past years he has been suffering with inconsistency and also injuries. So you cannot compare even Varane with Rudiger. Rudiger last season, obviously at the start with Lampard, he wasn't in the team. But since then, you cannot even compare. He has been one of our best defenders in the team, in the league, even in the Premier League.
But what we have to understand, Motu, yeah, you have to defend your team. You have to stand for them, and then pick your team.
I just speak on facts. I just speak on facts because I understand that Chelsea are in a Chelsea are in the. I think they're having the moment of their life right now. I think even during Jose Mourinho's era, because by then United were also in their era. But I think right now they're the dominant force. So you expect more of their players to come into a combined 11. But that doesn't mean that you should brush away what the other players from other teams are doing also. I understand Varane just came into the Premier League. He does not play much games at all. But he's Rafael Varane. He's one of the top 3 defenders in the world. You cannot avoid including him in the team. That's what I'm saying. It's just like you say Cristiano Ronaldo. He is the best player on earth right now. So you cannot just say that you're not going to put him in a team. You understand? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So you agree with you agree with Shani that you picking your team based on names because you are just talking about it's just Varane. It's just
no.
You just said that now.
You just said that.
No, I didn't pick Greenwood I didn't pick Greenwood off his name. You chose him. I looked at his performances. I looked at his stats. You understand? Those are things that you look at.
No, but you cannot tell me that you're picking your team based on form because based on form it's laughable. Like De Gea, Varane, Shaw, Pogba. What form? Like what exactly did they achieve? Or we are not
only looking at this season. We are looking at the last 18 months.
Even last season. Like tell me, even last season.
Shaw is indebatable. He's been the
so it's debatable.
Shaw is debatable, but Pogba, De Gea, Varane, who has not even been at United, sir, and even at Real, he wasn't the very same player. And even Greenwood.
Pogba's situation. I said Jorginho definitely deserves to be in the team. But if you look at this team, look, you have a defense of Varane and David and Varane and Thiago Silva. You have James and Shaw. Why do you need 2 holding midfielders to sit back and defend and protect your defense?
But that's the thing. You're changing. Now you're changing the team based on how the team is set up. I can also say with Jorginho, Kante, and Mount, you have someone like Jorginho dictating the play, someone like Kante breaking up the play, and someone like Mount pressing and winning the ball up front. But now you're changing and saying because Pogba and Kante plays better according to France. You're not talking about form. You're not basing it on form. You're trying to look now at tacticals and how the team is set up or how they play for national teams. It doesn't make sense. You have to pick the team based on form.
But before Pogba got injured, before he got injured, he was in a good form for Manchester United.
Which season? This season or last season? But that's his whole career for United in a nutshell. He has been inconsistent his whole career.
That's true, but I cannot blame Pogba for that because I think Pogba has been inconsistent in the match.
Because
Manchester United have able to surround him with the right players to play.
But
I do sometimes blame him for his performances because if you look at the likes of Bruno when they came into the
had
an instant impact.
Okay, then when the system around him is great, then you can include him. Isn't that fair? Because you cannot play.
He's one of the best midfielders in the world. You can still include him. Come on. Come on.
You can include him, but you have to see who you're comparing him with. And you're comparing him with Jorginho, someone who won Champions League and Euros and who was instrumental in that. So that's the thing. You're picking him based on name.
Jorginho is a holding midfielder. Pogba is an attacking midfielder.
But still, you're picking based on form. You could have put even Jorginho in the place of Kante and Kante up front because he has played those positions. He's normally not a holding midfielder. Kante. He normally breaks up play. He's someone who moves, not sit and holds the midfield. So you're not basing your your team on form. You're looking at names also, because you cannot compare Jorginho and Pogba past 18 months based on form. So you're looking more about the name and saying how Pogba's structure is, or how he's he's obviously a great midfielder. But during his time at Manchester United, he has been inconsistent. So it's just not debatable. Maybe sure you can debate it based on his form with Euros. Man, he had a good season last season. But two players who are definitely out of the topic even there, it's De Gea and Pogba. Those two, they don't have, compared to Mendy and Jorginho, you cannot even compare them based on their achievements and how they played last season.
I agree. Okay, guys, I think the debate is getting heated and it's getting very interesting. But the time is also getting, it's moving fast. So let's move to the final section, which is the match prediction. The game is on Sunday. And Mo, let me start with you. What you said you're not expecting a win, so
Yeah.
I will expect a draw or a lose. What is your match prediction?
I expect Chelsea to win, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that Chelsea are gonna win. So I'm gonna go with a draw.
What's the draw?
I'm gonna go with a draw. I'm gonna go with
High score draw or low score?
I think a high score draw. I think maybe a 2-2 draw. Because I think maybe Chelsea may score 2 goals, and I think United can score 2 goals. I think Ronaldo will score, and I think one other player may score. I think maybe Bruno will score.
Bruno, okay, that would be nice. And Sonny, what's your prediction? What are you going for?
I think Bruno may score to teach Sonny a little bit of lesson, put some respect on his name.
Well, to be honest, the game will still be a difficult game, I think. I would predict maybe more a tight game, so it'll be more like 2-1, because I think it's a game where obviously our defense has been good, but I still see us conceding maybe a goal for maybe Ronaldo. I can still see United scoring, but at the same time, on the other side of the pitch, I don't see United holding Chelsea out, especially the form we've been, for us not to score a goal. I don't see that happening, especially with a makeshift defense with Bailey and Lindelof, who haven't been starting.
Or Phil Jones.
So I expect, Phil Jones. So I expect Chelsea to definitely score. And I would predict more like a tight affair, 2-1. So yeah, I'll go Chelsea 2-1.
Okay, nice. I think it was fun. We had a very, very nice discussion. It is long though, but I don't worry. I will cut it into pieces and then post it. Hopefully we have a few views from our people. Yeah, but it's nice, guys. It was good to have you around, and hopefully, we will talk about this more in the Kotu Classic WhatsApp group chat about the game on Sunday. So thanks, guys, for coming on, man.
A reaction is expected.
Thanks for having me all. It's been a pleasure, and yeah, it's definitely fun. I hope to do another one next year when we play against United again, and let's see maybe that team how it's gonna be.
Ragnick's team. All right, guys. Team, all right, guys. Then we're gonna cut it here, and hopefully, see you on the other side, guys. Take care, man.